interesting too is that Make 'em Evolve, I think, you know, kind of reflective of the changing of the guard on a lot of these maps. They've picked defense first.
Yeah, that's interesting on Chalet. Since Chalet was introduced way back when, since we've seen this in the competitive pool, it's generally been attacker-sided. Sometimes just barely, depending on the meta, but generally attackers like this map more. So it is a little surprising to see Maychem go for that defensive pick. This, of course, is a map that I think the reason I think it's a community's favorite, and I think one of our favorites, Harrison, is that unlike a Clubhouse or a Bank or a Skyscraper, right? It's less rigid in the strategy, in the way that it plays day to day. A Clubhouse is going to play like a Clubhouse map almost the exact same way every single time, give or take here and there. But the great thing about Chalet is that you can see that Clubhouse play style a bit more methodical, a bit more focus in a couple of specific mini games right on this site. For example, you think about the shield that we're seeing set up top blue at those library stairs, a perfect example of a Clubhouse-like feel to it. But then you look at a site like the basement, I mean, that's completely different because you can approach from both sides. You can get way more explosive. In Master and Master and Office, right, you can also get a lot more explosive. The Repel and the Solarium windows, it's like a combination of CEO on Bank and, like, I don't know, just pick a site from Border, right? I mean, there's so much variety to this map, and that's why I'm hoping that these two teams are going to give us a show.
By the way, something we didn't mention, there's another very familiar face on Maychem Evolve. Navi's is their sub. So Barker not playing with us today. Instead, Navi's and M-King back on action. I believe, actually playing together on that old MIBR roster. Am I correct?
I think I would have to defer to you. Maybe Jacob can give us the answers on that one a bit later. But I mean,
no. Wait. Yes.
Yes.
Sorry. The most recent, like MIBR with M-King, the one with Cameraman, did not have Navi's, but they had Navi's back in Pro League Season 11.
Okay. Good chunk of time ago. So most of our viewers may not remember that. But opening round kill is going to be on to Navi's, as you mentioned, the man of the hour, losing his life early thanks to a well-placed shot there from Pano on the Brava, by the way, someone who we have not really talked about at all yet today. We did see, I believe, her play once or twice in our previous series, but making an early appearance here on Chalet.
She is, I feel, a lot better on Chalet than some other maps. I mean, you hack main lobby, top blue, solar. There you go. Every single possible flank covered. You could even hack west main. So a lot of times we see Brava just to deal with those default cams because the defense also... Oh, wow. That was a nice shot. The defense also doesn't know if the cam is hacked unless they check it for themselves. And there's risk factor in that. Nitro, a second kill as he swings onto Infamy. Toss with the first for his team. Make it a second from Kafei. 2 with the Nook. And the round is completely shut down by Malvinas.
Yeah, that's one way to put the nail in the coffin and just close out the round. I mean, yeah, it's just one round in, but a confident round from Malvinas. They started up above, and then they did a whole classic strategy on barn games. Send a Nook in the front door. Send anyone, really, in that front door. And just catch the defenders with their backs turned. A great play from Kafei, as you mentioned. And a really good start for Malvinas. It was up above where they found those 2 kills, I believe. Yeah, it was, Nitrix who really made the move up there?
Yep.
And, yeah, 2 kills that really opened up the round. Maychem tried swinging him twice and regretted it twice.
They don't want to go back to bar after that. Understandably so. We'll be dining instead. Azami, of course, in play. Didn't really get to talk about her too much last round because the Azami didn't really do a whole lot. But she is much more important here on a dining defense for holding this top floor. Those Kiva barriers, absolutely massive. We mainly, I believe, Fur, the Jaeger, maybe the Malusi from Navi's too. Actually, the Warden of M King, I wouldn't be surprised if they're roaming upstairs. And Haas with a spawn peek onto Keifi from the, it looks like the bathroom window.
Yeah, that's, what, 8 seconds in, spawn peek. Haven't seen that in a while. Usually we see these attacking teams ready for that at every turn. Even if Keifi was ready on the Dokkaebi, it didn't matter. Haas was well prepared for that engagement. So, a quick and a good start for Maycam Evolve, which should hopefully remedy some of the pains of that previous round. They won't have to worry about losing as much power up above so quickly, because Malvinas will likely have to take things a bit slower now that they have the opening death rather than the opening kill.
Yeah, no Dokkaebi, and she's quite the powerful operator on Chalet, or really anywhere she's brought. Aerial up with just the Lion. Nitro taking a ton of damage from Haas, peeking in through that soft wall. He's got Kiva barriers that he can retreat behind. Infamy's got a nice little angle on the coffee machine, too. I might catch Malvinas off guard. Lion breaks the Kiva by the office doorway, looking to make the Azami's position a little bit more exposed. Oh, beautiful shot onto Hask. That'll even the odds. 4 apiece. Nitro, of course, still very lit up. And Infamy uses his last Kiva barrier and falls away, giving Malvinas now the top floor control that they crave.
Yeah, you see Scarp trying to provide that cutoff. The Nomad on that flank watch, getting those air jabs in position, making sure that no one can cross back and surprise them. And it's so far, it's worked. All 4 of the remaining Maycam defenders have tucked their way down below onto the site itself or nearby. Top floor control, like you said, Harrison, in the hands of Malvinas Gaming now. The question is, what can they do with it? Nitro very low on HP here after getting lit up earlier. So we'll need to use that breaching hammer, but we'll need to be cautious of the impacts in Infame's hands or in Navi's hands. Only one left, of course, for the Malusi, but still precarious for the sledge up top, especially with these pesky vertical angles that, while generally will favor that attacker up above, can quickly get remedied with a little bit of explosivity from below.
Especially with how low HP he is. And speaking of low HP, Navi's is brought low, but not before he gets the kill on Pano. Rotating away, that might give the opportunity for the attack to drop on in, but Nitro is very quickly dealt with. So is Scarp. And Ragnar is left in a 1 versus 4 with 4 seconds remaining. Coming off the first round loss, a very confident response from Maycam Evolve.
And a great start and a great finish. I mean, they started out with a quick little spawn peek to get the round started in their favor, and then never really looked back. Confident top floor take from Malvinas. You liked to see them still make that happen, even though they were down a player, ended up equalizing the man count. But when it came to actually transitioning that execute down below, it wasn't hopeless, but it certainly wasn't going to be easy. I mean, you had 4 Maycam defenders who were comfortable. They knew what they were dealing with. They avoided exposing themselves entirely to the holes created by the breaching hammer of Nitro up above. And at that point, Malvinas, they just had to push in. They knew it was going to get desperate. And lo and behold, Ragnar was quickly the last player left alive, and Maycam Evolve equalizes the round count. Tied up at 1 now, and we'll move back upstairs here, this time going to Master and Office.
Still got that Azami, who's likely going to be played on every single site. She's just so powerful, especially on Chalet, where previously on Chalet people relied a lot on the shield play, and now with Azami, there's a lot of sets where you really don't have to bring shields anymore. Another spawn peek from Husk. Looking outside Solar, he's not going to find anyone though. At least for now, Malvinas will start the round with a full 5. I mean, I'm sure Keifi is very thankful about. This top floor bomb site is going to be supported from underneath. There's several players downstairs, one of which, most importantly, is MK with a C4. So if Malvinas are able to get themselves into sight, they'll have to watch out for him.
Yeah, typical plant spot, that box in the small office there. when you work your way in by that half wall, extremely vulnerable to the C4 from below. So generally, you've got two options as the attacking team. You either rumble through Piano, taking the control up above, taking enough of it so that those defenders downstairs are forced to come back and really can't get that C4 successful, or more likely, open up that dining wall. If that's reinforced, you use a breaching charge on it, a secondary breaching charge, you use a Selma charge, use something on that just to force that defender back and immediately prevent them from using that C4 entirely. Right now, though, the focus will start up above. You see these drones round the corner. That's the clutch drone from Scarp that tried to make something happen, but gets shot out. But early progress from Malvinas here. They've got this breach open, and Hask is going to start to feel the pressure. Oh my!
And off of that, he pops up a pre-fire, smokes Pano, looking for the second, holding a very tight angle on that breach. The Kiba barrier comes in to assist, locks down that doorway. Haas playing very aggressively, evades the nades from below. It's damage, but it's no kill. And he's still persisting by this half wall. A second nade comes through, and he's still not dead. This guy is unkillable. Finally, in comes Keifi, and he does the job, but only after 2 minutes, and now a C4 from M-King to put the man advantage back in Maycamp's favor. Now there's sub 1 minute to play with. Nitro is trying to deal with the shield and Piano, but both nades, every nade, was used in attempting to deal with Haas. There's ADSs still on this shield as well. Maybe they can get the Selma through, but how much is that going to matter in a 2 versus 4? Now a close angle being held. Swing comes from Ragnar. He dusts Infamy with 30 seconds now remaining. There's no utility to work off of, but they're getting the picks. And now there's only one left. Wolves has a smoke, babe. He can easily down and kill off both of them. If they linger in the smoke for too long, and if it's well placed, the plant attempt is coming through from Ragnar. Wolves, can he respond with the gas? He's going to let this go down, and he's playing for the retake now. 1 versus 2, but Ragnar's not let him have a single chance. 2v4 for Keifi and Ragnar.
Well played. Ragnar hitting a couple of nice shots there, getting the plant down. Keifi, good coverage, but where was that toxic smoke? I wanted to see it so badly. It would have surely been a problem for that Malvinas attack. As you pointed out, Harrison, they were incredibly low on HP. The planter had a little more health. He would have had time to hop off the plant and back off for a second, but that would have been really nice time delay. It would have given at least the smoke a little chance in that situation. A retake in a 1v2 is almost never going to go your way in a post-plant scenario, but a strong fight and an uphill climb that Malvinas Gaming were able to secure. Good for them. That was not an easy round. Towards the end, it looked like Maycam had successfully really done everything they needed to do to stop that execute. The C4 that we talked about from M-King, it was never denied, and no one from Malvinas bothered going below, so it claimed the kill. The denial from Piano, it was so tough for Ragnar to swing around the other side, a deployable shield in his face, yet he wins that gunfight anyway. Such a tough situation for Malvinas, but they managed to win it.
Incredibly done. So an advantage for Malvinas that maybe they shouldn't have. We are going back to bar. Malvinas had very good upstairs takes, spearheaded by Nitro, and then, of course, the walk-in from the Nook. They're not going to have a Nook this round, however. For whatever reason, they decided to drop her. They do have to deal with Amira. This is new. I mean, they have Ace that could deal with it, but that's pretty much it. Unless Keifi can somehow get his Selmas on those windows, it's gonna be tough to get past. And Navi's, all the way from West Main, kills Pano from the site window, and an early opening pick goes the way of Maycam.
Flashes are now pressuring M-King, but this is the Warden. Remember, he still has a chance to defend this position. The nade doesn't connect. The second nade. Was that truly 2 nades from Nitro? It was. He's out of nades now, and neither connected. Now, Wolves is gone thanks to a good shot from Keifi. Nitro as well.
What?
There it goes. Here they come. What is this push? So Malvinas are in and they are making a move, but still there is somebody up above. They haven't dealt with him. KP's on 1 HP, but he is inside of the objective, and he's got to be extremely careful because Navis is around the other side, full HP, and M King is up above and took care of the last player that could have helped KP out. Ragnar's gone. 1 HP, the ace against the world. Doesn't really have much of a choice. Pinned between a rock and a hard place, and just doesn't have enough information to work off of.
Did Ragnar just forget about that guy? Like, that's who they were focused on clearing out, was the warden in the corner. Once he was unaccounted for, the trade happens between Navis and Keifi to give the defense the round. Once that guy was unaccounted for, they should have known he was there. All you have to do if you're Ragnar is go coat check instead. But, I mean, it was a great attempt from Malvinas after a struggling top floor take and losing their line early. I can't believe the ace shoved himself into bar stock like that. But at the end of the day, the site doesn't having the site doesn't matter if the rest of your team is dying and you have no help. So
I mean, clearly
tied. And,
yeah, clearly that
I don't know.
I mean, it clearly surprised, like, that kind of, like, top floor clear isn't working, let's just blitz our way in strategy. Obviously surprised Maycam a bit. Clearly surprised our observer, like, we had no idea what was going on. Like, it was a good play. It just, it's a high risk, high reward situation, and without that top floor player being dealt with ever, like, the fact that M King didn't turn and focus on that bottom floor is really what prevented Malvinas from winning that round. Like, after those kills are found, right, downstairs, the understandable response is for that player to drop, maybe look down the hatch and get aggressive, but he stayed, like, paying attention to those players up above, and so he didn't die. It was good, smart stuff from M King.
Now, speaking of M King, he's probably going to be playing below for that C4 again. It's a pretty similar lineup to round number 3. Oh, well, it's the same lineup from round number 3. Pretty similar setup, rather, from the team. On the attack, though, they've dropped the Nook for a buck. Also got Thermite instead of Ace, for whatever reason. Scarf and Pano have switched roles from the Brava to the Lion. I'm figuring, you know what? If Pano's going to die early, we would rather it not be the guy with the EE1Ds. Maybe that's the philosophy here. Nitro. Oh?
Where was that even? Was he on the...
He's on bathroom.
Bathroom window?
Yeah. This is him right here.
He's got a chance to find this. I think the wall's probably soft between it. Usually is. Not going to pull the trigger, though.
Man, what's he waiting for?
Still staring at this barricade. On the other side, you've got a breach that's been opened up in that office wall. Scarp and Hanno will be staffing that as well. You've got Ragnar behind. Still Nitro lying in wait. Keep an eye on that bathroom player. At any moment, he could jump in that window and make a move. Instead, he chooses to take a step back, waiting for some information. I think Infame's going to be his target here, but Hosk is going to get the opener, and still no action from the sledge. KP responds, so still it is even. 4v4. Still no action from the sledge. Nitro. Gotta make a move here, buddy. So far, just been AFK on the balcony. Keifi will go down as he jumps in the window. Could have been Navis from below. Ragnar again, another response, and finally here comes the sledge. Pano gets the kill. Keifi's going to be recovered likely. Ragnar gets one. I mean, this defense is crumbling. I'm not going to put it on Nitro's shoulders, but I mean, the play did work. And there it is. He gets a kill. So he's got something to speak of. Malvinas, they take a round. A bit of a peculiar one, at least if you're focusing on the sledge. But they opened the wall and they started to get the kills they needed.
Yeah, I don't really... I would love to know what the plan was. But eventually he did get his way into sight, and he caused chaos. At the end of the day, that's all you can really expect him to do, is just distract the defense. You know, he's saying, hey, he's waving his hands up and down. Hey, I'm in piano. Come get me. Maycam Evolve tried. Malvinas had all their bases covered. It was a beautiful execute from that point on. Super, super dominant. They find themselves up 3-2. We're going to Dining now. One of two sites that Maycam has won. Other than, that most recent bar defense that we just saw. Their top floor hold was pretty decent. I think it was it was like a 1-for-1 hold, but they wasted like a minute and a half. Malvinas couldn't do enough with that vertical play.
Let's see. So focusing here on this top floor hold, I think, right? You've got M-King again on the Warden. You've got that shield on that piano position. Only one C4 as far as explosive potential in the hand of Wolves there. So keep an eye on that. Unclear if he'll be playing up above or down below. Both positions, C4 would do nicely, especially considering that Malvinas are likely to aim for that top floor control right off the bat. Generally, they've been pretty direct so far. They haven't really, other than bar and games, they haven't really bothered to go out of their way to secure map control up to this point. So looking to see if that pattern is going to change or if they're going to keep getting direct and aggressive. Talking about that aggression, I mean, Navi's just way too much, way too soon, and Ragnar was more than prepared for it.
And Navi's has been making plays like that all game. Now Scarp jumps into coat check into the waiting arms of Haas, but the Jaeger unable to come up with the kill. 5 versus 3 for Malvinas. Only one man left upstairs, I believe, on the defense, unless everyone's falling back. No, Infamy. Still in piano, as the Azami. But knowing that there's one guy upstairs, Malvinas might just rotate for an execute. Nitro is just outside this west main window. M-King is on Solar.
Shouldn't be a threat.
A lot of these defenders are kind of a distraction, but Wolfie smokes Scarp on the Nook. Kayfie's taking a lot of damage as well as he barges into West Main. Nitro shoots Wolves in the back, and there we go. This is Malvinas' game. A trade. M-King goes 1-for-1 on Solar. Stairs leaving Infamy in a 1 versus 3. Ragnar's the one with the case. I believe he was on that Solar rappel we saw M-King contesting earlier, so he's got to figure out how to get down to this bomb site. Infamy getting rid of those floor holes, so it's a little bit safer for him to walk down short, but he's still going to be very exposed, and the plant is now being completed by Ragnar. A 1v3 post, you know exactly where he is thanks to those pre-fires. He's got info on one, but he just can't land the shot. Malvinas, 3 men still alive, and a 4-2 half.
Yeah, it took them a minute to transition and actually realize that the site was vulnerable. I was worried for a moment. I think that they might have gotten caught up focusing on the Warden too much and might have lost a body or two. I mean, that's quickly how a 2v4 situation like that can turn into a 2v2, and you can allow the defense to kind of claw their way back in. But thankfully, they held strong. They kept that focus, and even though they may have lost 1 or 2 more bodies than they were hoping to do in the end, like, they knew the site was vulnerable, and they took that control. They put some focus into Solarium. They put some focus into Trophy. They put some focus in that Dining side. And because they had an overwhelming man advantage at that point, even if you lose a body, it's okay as long as you find the trade. And that they did. So 4-2 attacking half for Malvinas Gaming here on Chalet. That is not all that shocking, generally, in the way that this map goes. Maycam did put together a couple of strong defensive rounds. Now it's just about shifting that to the attacking side to see what they can come up with here.
Mira is someone that was only played, I believe, once by Maycam Evolve. It was on round 4 for Bard Gaming. We'll have a similar Mira strat coming out from Malvinas on the same site. Of course, a stalwart upstairs hold is necessary. Interesting, too. We didn't see I feel like we didn't see a whole lot of vertical play from Malvinas. Even though they had the sledge, we only saw it, like, once, and then every time after that, it was mainly just for nades, and Nitro would walk in and kill people. So I'm wondering if maybe Navi's will lean more into the utility.
It's fair, actually, that we didn't see as many of those, like, real focus on those power positions. We talked about it coming into this map, those little mini games that we like to call them. Didn't appear that, like, the round didn't ever really come down to the victor of a mini game, right? It's really been a bit more of a frag-heavy map than I think Chalet often is. And this is why we said it earlier. Chalet is one of these maps that can be so fluid with the teams that are playing it. It's not always about those little positions that you can maintain. Again, it could be the case on this half, and it wasn't on the previous half. It really depends how Malvinas want to set this up, and if Mayhem Evolve are a team that wants to go very direct like Malvinas was, or if they do want to go for the clears and go for that full map control. Hard to know at this point, but just about 90 seconds remain in this Barn Games defense, and we are going to see Nitro start to feel that pressure as the nades go his way.
Not dead, though. Still on blue. Slow go of things for Mayhem. Navi's might just jump in. And he does. Takes the fight with the Frost. Gets dealt more damage than he dishes, as he didn't hit Nitro once. Wolves also some damage being taken as he walks into short, so Malvinas are aware of his position. He won't be sneaking in anytime soon. Now 38 seconds.
Oh,
Nitro re-aggresses for whatever reason, feeling like he needed to recontest top floor. You are not ace. Doesn't work. Wolves gets a second kill on, Wolves gets a follow-up kill onto Scarp, though. Now it's a 5v3. Malvinas have really just given up bodies when they didn't have to, with only 10 seconds left now, and I'm really hoping they don't just lose out in the trade game. Ragnar gets one, make it two, as Pano comes in for the assist, killing Haas. 3 seconds left, and it's all over. 3 anchors are all Malvinas needs to shut out the round.
Yeah, no kidding. So that hatch did get opened up. Those X-Kairos pellets were used to try to identify the position of the Electro Claw and find an opening to do it. Of course, it didn't look all that pretty, but it got the job done in terms of the hatch opening. But that's just about all Mayhem accomplished. Yes, Malvinas did make a couple of poor choices, right? The Frost Nitro walking back up the stairs, that would be big blunder number 1, and really the main one in the round. But at the end of the day, like you said, Harrison, it didn't matter. All Malvinas needed were 3 anchors to lock it down. You got those mirror windows. You got, well, frankly, some mechanically gifted players, and you know exactly where Mayhem Evolve are coming from, given how little time they have remaining. That is how you execute a patient defense in the end. When you're down in that 3v5 scenario, you just need to hold, use that utility that you have available to you, and Malvinas did that beautifully. That was one of the more disciplined rounds I think we've seen so far tonight, and I'm not too surprised that Malvinas were able to win it as a result.
Nice little 3v5 to start the new half. They now lead 5-2. That's quite a lead heading now into Master and Office. A timeout being taken by Mayhem Evolve in an attempt to fix their issues. They are, of course, playing with a sub, so I'm sure that at least some of these issues wouldn't be present had they had their full 5. No, it's not Navi's fault. It's not because Navi's is worse than their normal 5. It's just you're always going to lose some of that cohesion when you've got a substitute player in the mix. This is interesting. Malvinas setting up a whole lot of long angles all the way across library.
Chalet, of course, this is Malvinas Gaming's pick, so you do expect them to come out, start things off in the advantage. And it's the only map here of the three that it's a complete mystery in this matchup. We've seen Skyscraper and we've seen Clubhouse played by each of these teams, or one each, I should say, up to this point. Malvinas, we saw them play this map, play Skyscraper, lost it against Revan, and we saw Maycam play Clubhouse, lost that to Alpha Theris. So we do know what a little bit of the next two maps might have in store. Chalet was the big mystery, and so far Malvinas are showing us that they really would like to emerge victorious here on this opening map. Navi's, at least in round number 8, was hoping to get involved early, and well, he found a couple of bullets to the side there and is going to be very low on HP for the remainder of this round.
Yeah, he tried to walk up West Main fast, but Scarp was not having any of it. Of course, had to walk through barbed wires. That's likely what gave his position away. Maycam Evolve are opting for primarily a solar take here with some presence below. Wolves, of course, on the big window repel, too, just for that long cutoff. There's only a minute and a half left, but Maycam do get the first pick. Infamy on the Scarp. You lost your Aruni, not the biggest loss in the world, as all of her utility is already out. It'd be much more detrimental to lose something like the Asami that Pano is currently playing, and currently under fire.
Playing aggressively there on that position. Soft destruction, that doorway, great places to swing off of, but not when there are two attackers staring right at you. Thankfully for Malvinas, they did get an equalizer. They took care of Wolves. The Nomad is gone. But Pano is in a very rough spot. I mean, just look at these blue outlines surrounding his position.
Right.
Oh my. Able to get that shot onto the master repelled player. Still fighting this Solarium. Oh, and a perfectly placed Kiva barrier to delay things even further. Keifi from behind takes care of Navi's on the flank. A little bit of a surprise there as Malvinas look to close this one out. Nitro was ready for that. Hosk is gone. M-King, who's been on this rappel for a while, is still on the rappel with every single teammate having died around him. 10 seconds left, and I think Habana's just going to spend the rest of the round here looking at this angle, and Malvinas, they will have a 6-2 advantage on map point heading into this potentially final round.
And Pano, I mean, he wasn't in a great position, but he did not care. Not one bit. He did a tremendous job of holding down Solar and preventing any of those swings in with his teammate Keifi holding Owl, who eventually just hopped over the balcony and dumpstered Navi's with the shotgun, being able to kill that big window. Yeah. He hopped over the half wall.
Wild. I thought he flanked. That's my bad. Guess I didn't expect him to jump over the half wall.
Yeah, neither did Navi's, clearly. And Pano just turning around and smoking the guy big window to relieve a lot of pressure, and no one from Maycam replaced that. So all those defenders had to do was watch Solar Repel. All there was to it. Now we go down to Garage, a 6-2 advantage for Malvinas. Truly showing us why they picked Chalet. And I think they're showing us a lot of depth within their roster too, because right up against Revan, very long series, top performers by far and away were Scarp and Pano, with Scarp leading the charge. And well, a lot of the other players were, maybe only +2 or -1 or -2 between Ragnar, Keifi, and Nitro respectively. I mean, look at how they're doing now. Scarp is 1-7. And everybody else on the roster is now lifting that weight.
Yeah, I mean, look at the supporting power of Ragnar. He was fully hard breach exclusively on the attacking side. Now Smoke on the defense. I mean, what is that? 10-2? Good grief. That's really good. That is actually not only the most kills, but that's the best KD of everybody on the team right now. So fragging out, staying alive, doing exactly what a really good support player does. So keeping that up, it will definitely be a Malvinas' secret to success here. Not so secret to success, I suppose you could say. for the remainder of this series. Not just this map, but if he can keep that up on map 2, I mean, Skyscraper, your support player popping off, that's exactly what you're looking for. So,
yeah.
Maycam, they're gonna need to bounce back and at least find something, find some way to deal with every single one of these defenders who are now, like you said, performing very well.
I mean, you said it, Ragnar was playing Hard Breach and Nomad and Lion. We also can't forget about Kafei, who was also playing some sort of... wow, that was a great shot from Scarp. Who was also playing some sort of supportive roles. I mean, he had Nook a couple of rounds, but primarily he was like Ace, Dokkaebi, and he's 9-3. Now rocking Mira and Mute. M-King will finish off Ragnar, a player we were just speaking so highly of. Now the attackers start to come in, but Scarp still holding on to Bard. Dome's Haas looking for another. Wolves has no idea where he is, and the entire attack has fallen apart. 3 kills for Scarp. Another for Nitro, finishing M-King with the impact. And Navi's, the substitute, finds himself in a 1 versus 3 up against 3 deadly players. By the way, I love the Kiba setup in Garage, too. Almost completely nullifying the Garage presence, because the whole point of opening Garage is you have those long cutoffs through the entirety of the bomb site. I mean, it's hard to play in the site anywhere once that wall is open, but those Kibas make it not only possible, but probable and meaningful to do so. Navi's is now making his way upstairs. He's got some vert to play with, but look at this. They know exactly where he's at. I wouldn't be surprised if the default cam is still up, Jonah, and that's probably where they are getting the pings from. Now only 25 seconds remaining, and look at this crossfire. Kafei, he gets lit up, but he's immediately going to back off because he knows the rest of his team doesn't have to move an inch. Now 15 seconds. Navi's going to go towards blue, but there's a shotgun. Kafei loses the fight. Pano sends out the good half, and there's a Banshee in the way of Navi's. Look at how the last 2 defenders are playing this. Oh, so passive, and Scarp. 4 kills. We just talked about Scarp being 1-7, and what does he do? 4K on the last round just to shut us up.
Love that. I love that. That's a great way to close out the map. And I mean, it was textbook. You just hold down bar by yourself and decimate the attack. Still questions about where Wolves the Osa was looking when walking into main lobby after knowing that Scarp was there and after 2 of your teammates have died to that. We're going to forget that happened. We can just remember the final score line, 7-2.